Hello and welcome to ZebraCode.io. This is a free coding curriculum for high school students, and we are on lesson 7 and we'll be looking at lists. Now, we recently just learned about iteration and branching, and now we're going to learn about lists. And lists are a collection of items, and we can initialize a list with this simple phrase here. My list is a variable, and it is assigned the value of a list. And a list is denoted by these square brackets. Now, empty square brackets is initializing a variable to an empty list. Now, we can also initialize it with some certain values, but in this case, it's an empty list. And in this case, it's a collection of items, and we can store anything within this collection of items. We can store strings, integers, floats, and later on, as we build more complicated objects, we can store those as well, such as dictionaries and tuples. Now, some of the methods associated with a list are append, insert, pop, and length. Now, append adds an item to the end of the list, insert puts it into a specific location, pop removes the last item, and length is the number of items in that list. Now, a couple of other ones we'll be learning about are remove, count, index, and sort. And you can Google Python lists and learn about all these different methods and all these different ways that we can manipulate lists. And we'll go over these more detailed as we go through the lesson and through the examples and demos in the course. So the next thing we want to do is let's look at specific code. Here we have a variable called numbers, and it is assigned the value of a list. And within that list are 3 items, 2, 4, and 6. Now, if we do numbers, that's the same variable, dot append 8, it puts 8 at the end of the list. So now we have 2, 4, 6, and 8. And now if we insert, this is inserting at the 0 position. Lists use the 0 position. We start with 0 as representing the first position. We're going to insert the number 1 in the 0 position. So now our list would be 1, 2, 4, 6, and 8. We can take the length of the numbers. In this case, we started with 3 and we added 2 more, so we have a length of 5. And it just counts the number of items within the list. Now, numbers.pop, this removes the last item of the list. In this case, it's an 8, and just removes it off of the list, and now we only have 4 members. Let's look at another example. Instead of using numbers, we can use strings, and we can use whole paragraphs in it for a string. But in this case, we have colors as assigned the value of red and white, and we're going to append blue. So now we have a list called colors, red, white, and blue. If we print the length of the colors, it's going to be 3 because we have 3 colors, red, white, and blue. We can also look at each color based on its position, or its index, and in the 0 position, it's going to be red, and then in the first position, it's going to be white, and etc. So we can look at any item of a list using its index, and we can also iterate through all of the items in a list. For X in colors, print X. In this case, we're going to print red, and the next line we'll print white, and then the next line we'll print blue, because we can iterate through all of the items in a list with the for loop. Now, in addition to that, we can test for membership. For example, if green is in colors, the keyword is in colors, print green. Now, in this case, it's going to be false because we have red, white, and blue. And then in the second case, if green not in colors, print no green. In that case, that would be true, so it would print no green. So we can use in and not in. Finally, let's look at random. We can import a library called random. It comes with the Python download, and X is assigned the value of random. That's telling our code where to look. We're going to look within the folder called random, or within the file called random, and we're going to look for a specific method called randint. In this case, it's going to give us a number somewhere between 1 and 10, including the endpoints. This is a great way as a random number generator, and so it's going to print X, and X is going to be somewhere between 1 and 10, including 1 and possibly 10. It's going to be a random number within there, and it's going to print for us. So we can use some random. We'll develop some great code using the random function here, and this is one method called randint that's available within the random function. So this is ZebraCode.io. We're focused on lists, and lists are nothing more than a collection of items, and the key syntax is the square brackets that represent, it's telling Python that this is a list, and that's one of the data structures that we'll learn about here within this course. This is ZebraCode.io.